Welcome back, everyone, to Coin Spyder. Today's journey is going to be one of the most fascinating coin stories you've ever heard. Imagine this for a second. You walk into your room, you open a drawer, and you find a simple old coin that looks completely ordinary. It's just a 50-cent coin from Malaysia, dated 2010. To most people, that's just small pocket change, maybe enough to buy a little candy. But what if I told you that certain collectors out there have placed values on this same coin that go beyond $40,000? Yes, that's not a mistake, it's not an exaggeration, and it's not just a rumor. Over $40,000 for a coin that originally had a face value of only 50 cents. That's the magic of numismatics, and that's exactly what we're going to explore together today. So stay with me, because by the end of this video, you'll know everything about the Malaysia 50-cent coin from 2010, why it can be worth so much, where it has been auctioned, and most importantly, why you should check your own coins very carefully. The story behind the coin. The 50-cent coin from Malaysia, dated 2010, belongs to the third series of coins issued by Bank Negara Malaysia. This series had been around for many years, stretching all the way from 1967 up to 2011, just before the designs were modernized and changed into the fourth series in 2012. The 50-cent denomination, being the largest among the cent coins, was always considered an important piece of circulation money. On its obverse side, the design shows the beautiful hibiscus flower, the national flower of Malaysia. Above the flower, the words Bank Negara Malaysia are inscribed, while at the bottom, the year 2010 appears along with the denomination 50 cent. On the reverse, you see one of the most iconic cultural symbols of Malaysia, the Wow Bulan, also known as the moon kite. This design is not just decoration, it represents Malaysian heritage, creativity, and artistry that goes back generations. The coin therefore carries not only monetary value, but also cultural pride. And when culture and rarity meet, collectors take notice in a big way. Why the 2010 year matters, you may wonder. Why specifically the year 2010? Why not 2009, 2008, or even 2011? The reason is that 2010 sits right at the edge of transition. Within 2 years, Bank Negara Malaysia introduced a completely new set of coin designs as part of the fourth series. Whenever such transitions happen, collectors suddenly start to treat the final issues of the older series with a special level of importance. Think of it like the last edition of a popular book or the final model of a classic car before the design changes. That last piece suddenly becomes the one everyone wants to own because it closes a chapter of history. The Malaysia 50-cent coin of 2010 does exactly that. It's not the rarest by mintage numbers, but its position in history makes it a collector magnet. And when collectors compete for something, values start to climb, sometimes in ways that surprise even experts. Ordinary versus extraordinary. Of course, not every 50-cent coin from 2010 is automatically worth tens of thousands of dollars. If you pull one from circulation that is scratched, worn, or dirty, it might only be worth its face value, maybe a bit more to a casual collector. But here's the twist. When a coin is preserved in pristine, uncirculated condition, meaning it looks just as fresh as the day it left the mint, its value increases dramatically. Take it a step further and imagine that the coin also has a rare mint error, like an off-center strike, a die crack, or even a misprint in its details. That's when the coin becomes extraordinary. And in the world of numismatics, extraordinary coins fetch extraordinary prices. This is why you hear stories of coins like the Malaysia 50-cent 2010 being valued above $40,000. It's not every piece, but it's those extraordinary examples that drive the headline numbers and fuel the excitement among collectors. The power of auctions. Now let's talk about auctions, because this is where the real magic happens. A coin might sit quietly in someone's drawer for years until the owner decides to take it to an auction house. Suddenly, the coin is placed in front of hundreds of collectors, both in person and online. The bidding begins. One person offers a few $100s, another jumps to a few thousand, and before you know it, the number climbs higher and higher. In Malaysia, some of the most recognized auction venues include trigonometric auctions in Petaling Jaya, MNP auctioneers in Kuala Lumpur, and events held by the Bank Negara Malaysia Museum and Art Gallery. At these places, rare coins are showcased and collectors compete fiercely. It's at these auctions where we see coins like the 50 sen 2010 fetch prices that break the $40,000 mark. It's not just about the coin itself. It's about the atmosphere, the prestige, international collector interest. Another factor that pushes values so high is international attention. Malaysian coins are not just collected by Malaysians. Numismatists from Europe, the United States, the Middle East, and other parts of Asia are constantly seeking unique pieces from around the world. The 50 sen 2010, with its hibiscus and Waubalan design, represents a cultural story that appeals globally. When international collectors participate in Malaysian auctions, the level of competition increases, and so does the price. Imagine a wealthy collector in Europe who has never owned a Malaysian 50 sen coin, but suddenly realizes that owning one would complete his world collection. That collector might be willing to pay tens of thousands of dollars just to secure it. This international demand is one of the reasons why the $40,000 figure is not only believable, but has been repeatedly achieved in auctions. Condition and grading. When we talk about a coin's value, one word that always comes up is grading. Professional coin grading companies like NGC, Numismatic Guarantee Company, and PCGS, Professional Coin Grading Service, evaluate coins under strict conditions. They assign grades from poor, P, all the way up to mint state, MS 70, which means a perfect coin. For the Malaysia 50 sen 2010, coins that achieve a mint state 65 or higher are extremely rare. These are the coins that shine like new, with no scratches, no marks, and no discoloration. Once a coin achieves such a grade, its value doesn't just double or triple, it multiplies many times over. Combine that with the uniqueness of the 2010 date, and suddenly you have a piece that can command values beyond $40,000. Mint errors and their magic. Let's take a moment to talk about mint errors, because they are often the hidden gems that push a coin's value into legendary territory. A mint error occurs when something goes wrong during the production process. It might be an off-center strike, where the design is not perfectly aligned. It could be a double strike, where the coin was accidentally hit twice by the die, creating a ghostly double image. Or it could be a die crack, where a flaw in the die creates unusual lines or patterns on the coin. For the Malaysia 50s in 2010, even a small error can turn the coin into a collector's dream. And when such error coins appear at auctions, collectors go into bidding wars. That's how we see prices leap into the tens of thousands, often crossing the $40,000 line without hesitation. Connection. There's another side to value that people often overlook, and that's connection. For Malaysians, the 50 sen coin of 2010 is not just currency, it's a memory. It represents the days before the coinage system changed, the era of the third series, and for many it represents their childhood or their daily life growing up. Owning such a coin connects people to their past. When you combine nostalgia with rarity, you get something truly priceless. Collectors are often willing to pay more, not just because of scarcity, but because of what the coin symbolizes. That emotional factor is another hidden reason why the 50 sen 2010 has been able to command values above $40,000 in certain cases. Stories that inspire. Stories about valuable coins always spark curiosity, and the 50 sen 2010 is no exception. There have been numerous accounts of ordinary people discovering that the coins they ignored for years turned out to be treasures. Imagine a family in Kuala Lumpur finding an old piggy bank, opening it, and discovering a shiny 50 sen coin from 2010. At first, they might think it's nothing, but after taking it to an auctioneer, they find out its true potential. The story spreads, and suddenly everyone starts checking their coins. These stories are what make coin collecting exciting. They show that anyone, no matter their background, could potentially hold a piece worth tens of thousands of dollars without even realizing it. Comparing to other coins. To fully understand the $40,000 value, it helps to compare the Malaysia 50 sen 2010 to other famous coins worldwide. The United States has the 1933 Double Eagle, a gold coin that sold for more than $18 million. Canada has the 1911 silver dollar, valued at over $700,000. In each case, rarity, condition, and historical significance played a role. When you compare those examples to the Malaysia 50 cent 2010, you see a similar pattern. It may not be as globally famous yet, but in its own category, it has achieved incredible recognition. The $40,000 price tag suddenly feels reasonable when you realize that collectors have paid much more for coins with similar qualities in other countries. What to do if you have one? So here's the big question. What should you do if you have a Malaysia 50 cent coin dated 2010? First, don't panic and don't rush to sell it. Start by carefully examining its condition. Does it look shiny and uncirculated? Are there any visible mint errors like off-center strikes or unusual marks? If you think your coin is special, the next step is to have it graded by a professional service like NGC or PCGS. Once you have that certification, you can approach auction houses like Trigonometric Auctions or MNP Auctioneers, or even international platforms that specialize in rare coins. The key is patience. Sometimes waiting for the right auction can mean the difference between a few $100s and over $40,000. Now I want to leave you with this thought. Every coin tells a story, but not every story is valued the same. The Malaysia 50 cent coin of 2010 is a perfect example of how history, culture, condition, and rarity combine to turn ordinary change into extraordinary treasure. Who knows, maybe the next coin you find could be the one that changes your life. Do you have a 2010 50 cent coin in your collection? Have you checked your coin jars or wallets lately? Let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear your stories. And if this video opened your eyes to the incredible world of coin collecting, then hit that like button, subscribe to Coin Spyder, and share this video with your friends and family. Together, let's spread the excitement and keep the passion for numismatics alive. Until next time, this is Coin Spyder reminding you, stay curious, keep hunting, and never underestimate the value of a coin in your hand.